The first sign was not the ships. It was the silence. Across Earth, satellites began reporting synchronized communication drops. Not outages. Not damage. Entire networks simply stopped transmitting at the same moment, as if billions of people had instinctively held their breath together. Then the sky darkened. At first the shadows were mistaken for storms. Cities from Tokyo to Lagos watched daylight dim as vast shapes eclipsed the sun. 12 enormous vessels hung in orbit, positioned carefully over the most populated regions of the planet. They did not fire. They did not move. They simply existed, and their presence alone carried the weight of inevitability. Inside the command deck of the alien flagship Ascendancy, Overseer Thalen studied the world below. He had guided hundreds of civilizations into the stellar accord. The pattern never changed. Panic, resistance, surrender, gratitude. Primitive species always feared extinction more than servitude. Broadcast the greeting, he ordered calmly. The message translated instantly across every language. They promised energy without pollution, medicine without disease, peace without war. All humanity needed to do was accept guidance. For 30 minutes the world reacted exactly as expected. Governments scrambled. Militaries activated. Social networks erupted with theories, prayers, and threats. Then everything stopped. No messages. No military launches. No retaliation. Humanity went quiet. Thalen frowned. Primitive species did not coordinate silence. Fear produced chaos, not discipline. Sensors began detecting power fluctuations across Earth's oceans. Massive energy signatures rising from deep beneath tectonic plates. The readings climbed rapidly, surpassing the combined output of the entire alien fleet. "Impossible," whispered his science officer. The ocean split. Water rose into the sky in a circular wall kilometers wide as something ascended from the Pacific abyss. Metal darker than space itself emerged, shedding waterfalls that glowed like molten glass under atmospheric friction. A ship surfaced, not merely large but deliberate in design. It carried no decorative structures, only layered armor and long recessed channels unmistakably shaped as weapons. It climbed through clouds and entered orbit directly between Earth and the visitors. For the first time in his long career, Overseer Thalen felt uncertainty. A transmission arrived. A human face appeared, calm, older, uniformed. "Unknown fleet," the man said evenly, "you are blocking our sun." Thalen straightened. "We have come to elevate your species." The human studied him silently before replying. "No," he said. "You came because you thought we were alone." 32 years earlier the Antarctic ice had swallowed a mistake. Dr. Elena Merrick's research team was drilling for paleoclimate data when their radar mapped a geometric void beneath 2 kilometers of glacier. At first they suspected equipment failure. Nature did not create symmetrical angles that precise. They drilled anyway. 48 hours later helicopters arrived carrying soldiers with insignias from no nation. The scientists were given a choice: leave and forget or stay and disappear from public records forever. They stayed. The excavation took nearly 3 years. A cavern was carved beneath the ice large enough to house a city, and within it rested the object that would change human history, a starship older than complex life on Earth. Its hull was seamless, composed of material that resisted every cutting method known. Yet it responded to electrical stimulation like living tissue. When they finally opened a passage, the interior still held faint power, running systems that had survived 50 million years. Humanity learned quickly. Compact reactors the size of trucks could power continents. Defensive fields bent kinetic force away entirely. And the weapons, scarred from battles fought before mammals existed, could split mountains from orbit. The project became Vanguard. Every major government secretly cooperated. Wars on the surface continued for appearances, but beneath oceans and deserts, humanity constructed shipyards hidden under tectonic shelves. They allowed the galaxy to see pollution and division while building unity in shadow. General Adrian Cole joined Vanguard as a young officer and rose to command. He understood the philosophy immediately: the safest weapon is the one your enemy believes you do not possess. For 3 decades they waited. They tracked faint interstellar emissions, observed colonizing fleets subduing weaker civilizations, learned that the universe favored predators. So Earth became bait. Satellites broadcast primitive signals. Probes were intentionally slow. Humanity pretended to crawl while preparing to stand. When the alien fleet entered the solar system, the protocol activated within minutes. Civilian networks were intentionally silenced to create the illusion of confusion while hidden installations awakened across the planet. The battleship Aegis rose from the Pacific not as a desperate defense, but as a planned introduction. Back in orbit, the alien overseer listened as General Cole spoke again. "You expected a species in need of protection," the human said calmly. "Instead you found a species that prepares for extinction before breakfast." The alien scanned the human vessel. Its energy signature did not merely match their fleet, it exceeded it. "How long have you possessed this technology?" he asked carefully. Cole gave a small smile. "Long enough to wonder why you think you're the first visitors." For 12 hours neither side moved. The alien fleet held formation above the continents while the Aegis remained perfectly centered between them and Earth. Its hull emitted no heat plume, no detectable exhaust, only a steady gravitational distortion that suggested engines operating beyond conventional physics. Inside the visitor flagship, Overseer Thalen faced a dilemma unprecedented in Accord history. Their doctrine relied on psychological dominance, overwhelm a civilization before it could consider resistance. But dominance depended on certainty, and certainty had vanished. Their sensors revealed weaknesses in human infrastructure. Divided nations, limited colonies, fragile population centers. Yet every analysis returned the same warning: the human warship could destroy multiple vessels before they adapted. Numbers favored the visitors. Unknown capability favored humanity. A second transmission opened. General Cole appeared seated, not on a bridge but in a modest office with a viewport overlooking Earth. The casual setting disturbed Thalen more than any weapon. "You've analyzed us," Thalen said. "Primitive industry. Environmental damage. Internal conflict. You require guidance." Cole nodded slightly. "We require distance. You risk annihilation. You risk escalation." Silence stretched between them. Thalen attempted leverage. "The Accord commands thousands of systems. Even if you defeat this fleet, others will come." "Of course," Cole replied. "Which is why we didn't build one ship." Behind him the viewport shifted. Dozens of faint silhouettes appeared rising from cloud layers, smaller vessels forming defensive positions around the planet. Not enough to win a galactic war. Enough to guarantee catastrophic losses. For the first time, Thalen understood the strategy. Humans were not claiming victory. They were offering unacceptable cost. "You would sacrifice your world to deny conquest?" he asked. Cole leaned forward slightly. "No," he said. "We would make conquering us more expensive than ignoring us." The Alien Council transmitted emergency instructions. Gather intelligence, avoid engagement. Their culture had expanded for millennia by choosing profitable victories. Earth promised only uncertainty. "You ask us to leave empty-handed," Thalen said. "I'm telling you," Cole answered evenly, "this system is occupied." Thalen studied the human's expression. Not arrogance, not fear. Preparation. "Why reveal yourselves at all?" he asked quietly. Cole looked at the stars beyond the viewport. "Because sooner or later," he said, "someone was going to knock." The decision took 23 hours. Across the alien network, strategists calculated probabilities while historians reviewed rare encounters with unexpectedly advanced species. Every projection ended the same way: victory possible but costly, and cost weakened future expansion. The order was given. The fleet powered its drives. From Earth's surface, astronomers watched the impossible armada bend space and vanish one by one. No battle, no explosions, only absence where shadows had lingered. Inside the Aegis no one celebrated. General Cole remained standing until the last vessel disappeared from sensors. Only then did he issue the command to stand down hidden defenses. The smaller ships descended back beneath oceans and deserts, returning the planet to its illusion of normalcy. Billions of humans would never know how close their history had come to changing. In the alien flagship, Overseer Thalen recorded his final report to the Accord High Council. "Humanity is not technologically dominant," he stated, "but strategically anomalous. They conceal advancement deliberately and prioritize deterrence over expansion. Engagement is not recommended." He paused before adding, "They prepared for us before knowing we existed." Light stretched into stars as the fleet entered hyperspace. Back on Earth, the Vanguard Command reviewed recovered data from the encounter. Star charts within the ancient ship updated automatically after detecting the visitor's engines, mapping routes deeper into unexplored regions of the galaxy. Dr. Merrick stared at the display. "They weren't the biggest power out there," she said quietly. Cole nodded. "We never assumed they were." Years later, humanity launched its first exploration beyond the solar boundary, not as refugees or conquerors, but as participants entering a dangerous neighborhood fully aware of the risks. The message sent into deep space was simple. Earth does not seek empire. Earth does not accept masters. Earth is prepared. Far beyond human sensors, distant civilizations registered the signal and took notice of a young species that had turned away an empire without firing a shot. And somewhere in the dark between galaxies, ancient automated systems, older than the ship buried in Antarctic ice, activated for the first time in millions of years. Humanity had announced itself. Something else had been listening.